So am I still Neil, the one who can hack into the ultimate hypertrophy code himself? The answer is yes, because I've just entered the territory of FFMI 26 in the beginning of my 5th year training. And if you have no idea what that means, keep watching, because you may never want to get this jacked. Alright guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 6th episode of my 2nd series, Hacking into the Ultimate Hypertrophy Code. Now, if you're new to my channel, which most of you guys are, the first 5 episodes of this series are a summary of my first 3 years of training from 2021 to 2024. And to be honest with you, when I finished recording my first 5 episodes in February 2025, I thought I was not going to get any bigger in future. But as it turned out, by the end of September 2025, I was substantially heavier than my heaviest weight in 2024. So to share with you guys my experience of getting even more jacked this year, here comes the episode for year 2025. And make sure you watch till the very end, because I'm going to tell you the main reason that prevents most of you from becoming Neil yourself. Alright, without further ado, please sit back and enjoy the latest episode of Hacking into the Ultimate Hypertrophy Code. Let's start from the beginning of this year. After I back off from the bulking that ended in November 2024, I have been on a gradual cutting/maintenance phase from January to April in 2025. If you ever watched some of my videos that I recorded early this year, particularly between February and March, you will notice that I had very clearly defined jawlines and a very clean look. Well, that was because my weight was around only 80 kilos. And when the Gold Coast was hit by the Cyclone Alfred in March this year, I was forced to eat only Greek yogurt and fruits for 2 days due to the power outage. Because of that, my weight actually dropped all the way to 77 kilos. From a retrospective perspective, my face looked much more visually appealing in this particular period. After I went on a bulk later this year, my face just looked much puffier and much oilier. Don't believe me? Just compare this face in September when I was bulked up to the max to this face in March when I was under 80 kilos, and you will get what I mean. So although I'm a huge proponent for bulking, and indeed there are so many benefits that a proper bulk can confer on you, I can understand the apprehension that most people have towards the idea of bulking. And sometime in February this year, I began to test the idea of full body split training in the gym. Prior to that, my training split was a hybrid of push-pull legs or upper and a lower split. And I had already decreased my training frequency from 5 times per week to 4 times per week. At the beginning of trying full body split, I was only adding in a few more sets of hamstring curls and glute ham raise in my upper body days, or a few sets of machine rows and lateral raises in my lower body days. The initial reason for me to include them in my training was I know for a very long time that increasing weekly hamstring and horizontal rowing volume is a very good idea to strengthen the posterior chain muscles, and the added exercises were non-taxing movements instead of exhausting exercises, say like Romanian deadlift or the T-bar rows. And I particularly made sure that I was not going to include any quad training on my upper body training days, because based on my past experience, if I went high intensity with my quads in a training session, my quads would be sore for 4 days to 5 days, or sometimes even longer. And I was concerned that if I were to train my quads together with glutes and hamstrings and with my upper body, it would take me even longer time to recover. So, for the first few weeks of testing full body split, it was not technically full body. I was either missing quad training on one day or missing chest training on another day. But as it turned out very quickly, my body had no problem handling the extra few sets I've thrown into each session. So after a few weeks of testing, I decided to include quad training in every training session. And after a few more weeks of testing, it turned out that my previous prudence was warranted. I couldn't train my quads 4 times a week, or at least I could not squat 4 times a week if you think the only way to train your quads properly is by doing squats with decent amount of weight. So very quickly, I have learned the lesson that quad training can be a tricky business to advance, and there is a necessity to control the intensity of your quad training, or otherwise your recovery is going to be an issue. However, it is also worth noting that I have not embarked on my bulk yet when I was testing the full body split in the first 4 months of 2025. And after I went on a bulk, the full body split had become the most potent weapon for me to achieve FFMI 26 later this year. From May to September, I went on my 4th round of bulking since I started my training. And if you have been watching my previous bulking series videos, you would know that I divide bulking into 3 different categories: long-term sustainable bulking, strategic explosive bulking, and all-out crazy bulking. It may sound a bit too geeky and nerdy, but trust me, they're different bulks. And for this round of bulk, I started with long-term sustainable bulking, and the benefit of bulking was almost instantaneous. With the extra few hundred calories and nutrients that come along with it, I could push myself much harder in the gym, and I could finally afford to squat 3 times a week and recover from training sessions without any issues. This increased leg training frequency has substantially speeded up my muscle growth, and in the span of a month and a half, I've grown from 82 kilos in the beginning of May to 87 kilos in the mid of July, which was already my previous heaviest weight back in November 2024. But unlike last time, I was busting my balls to achieve it. This time, achieving 87 kilos was easy as a breeze for me. And if you have heard of the muscle memory theory, you would know exactly why this time it was much easier to achieve 87 kilos. Because my body had already experienced what 87 kilos was like 8 months ago. And just like last round of bulking, I did not stop at my previous heaviest weight. After I've reached 87 kilos, I've decided to up my bulk from long-term sustainable bulking to all-out crazy bulk. Starting from mid of July till the end of September, I stopped counting calories for my food consumptions. Now, one thing to be clear, I was not dirty bulking. There was never direct junk food like burgers or pizzas on my plate, but I started adding all the caloric dense foods like milk, cheese, eggs, roasted chips, chicken wings, you name it, and ate as much as I could in a meal. There were many dinners that I ate a whole plate of roasted frozen chips and onion rings, which are junk food if deep fried, but actually clean enough if you only put it in the oven, and drank 1.5 liters of full cream lactose-free milk on top of my normal dinner. You have no idea how many calories are contained in those extra foods. Here's some simple math for you. And yes, that was only one main meal out of my 3 main meals, and 2 side meals in a day during this period, which means I was averaging extra 2,000 calories daily from mid of July to September. Now, I think you have a rough idea of what all-out crazy bulk means. Literally, all out. Eat as much as you can, as long as it is not direct junk food. And please don't be naive to think that just because I was on a 2,000 caloric daily surplus, the weight gain was going to be easy for me. Because the truth is, it wasn't. Now granted, before I was under 90 kilos, the weight gain was somewhat easy. But just when I was trying to break the 90 kilo mark, the bulking became extremely difficult. My weight has stagnated for almost a week. No matter how much I was eating, it would just not budge. Eventually, I managed to break the 90 kilo weight plateau and push my weight up to 91.5 kilos by the end of August. This was the photo taken on 30th of August. By then, you can tell how jacked I was even from a mile away. And that is what FFMI 26 looks like in a photo. And if you guys want to have an idea of what FFMI 26 looks like in real life, this is a short video recorded almost a month later when we're still at 91.5 kilos. Today I just want to take this opportunity to show you what FFMI 26 looks like in clothing. Now, a lot of you, when you see fitness photos online, all these influencers, they only show you the photo from the front. So I can show you my front. So obviously, as you can see, I look jacked enough. But what I want you guys to realize is that what's more important in life for somebody to judge your muscularity is when you turn to the side to show your thickness. And you probably can see I've got huge glutes. So that's one big part to showcase your muscularity. And also the hamstrings as well. And also the traps, the lats. Those are the things that you cannot see when somebody only shows you a photo from the front. I was just thick everywhere. Traps, triceps, quads, glutes, hamstrings, you name it. There's no way to conceal that I was absolutely jacked to the max. But equally, there's no way to conceal that my gut was hanging out like a balloon, and my face was puffy as a marshmallow. There were no aesthetics to speak of my physique whatsoever at this point. And to be honest, even myself thought I've gotten too big, because my physique had become almost too intimidating and too scary. You generally don't associate over 90 kilos with someone who is 170 centimeters or 5'7", because the normal muscular standard for this kind of height is just slightly above 70 kilos. Like this photo back when was 72 kilos in November 2023. And when you have extra 20 kilos or 45 pounds over the normal muscular standard, there's no wonder that I look just too scary for even the most hardcore gym bros. And that was not even my heaviest weight. My heaviest weight was 92.5 kilos, which is recorded on 17th of September. But truth to be told, I could not maintain this weight, because once my body weight was over 90 kilos, I had to further increase the amount of food to keep driving the weight up. But despite I was practically force-feeding myself every day, my weight would fluctuate instead of steadily increase as it was before. There were days when I stuffed my face at dinner, yet the next day when I woke up, my weight would still drop. Clearly, this was my body sending a signal to me that it was not feeling comfortable putting more mass onto my frame anymore, and it was time to call it a stop. So by the end of September, after 2 months and a half of all-out crazy bulk, I stopped this round of bulking. As I said in my bulking series videos, no one can stay on the all-out crazy bulk for more than 3 months, and obviously, myself was no exception to this rule. This round of bulking has taught me so many lessons and lent new perspective on some topics that I would just laugh at previously. For example, full body split. If you were to ask me when I first started training in August 2021, what are my thoughts on full body split? I would have told you that this is the most stupid split out of all splits, and I will never choose this split. Yet now I'm 100% convinced that full body split is the best way to truly maximize your size as a natural lifter, and for the foreseeable future, I will stay on full body splits. Another example would be high reps. If you were to ask me 2 years ago, would I do a set that is 20 reps plus? I would have told you that it's useless pump training. You are not training hard enough, and you need to add more weight to the bar. Yet now I'm 100% convinced that high reps definitely should have a place in your training, and they're superior in many ways in advanced hypertrophy context. In fact, there are 10 lessons I've learned from this round of bulking, and I've compiled all of them into this video. Personally, I think it is one of the most valuable videos I've uploaded on my YouTube channel. So please feel free to click on the link and watch this video if you want to get this jacked as well. I guarantee you, you will learn a thing or two from this video. It was fun to achieve FFMI 26 naturally and be thick and big and all that. But when I was at my heaviest weight, my body fat was hovering at 20% or even higher. My waist was bursting at 105 centimeters or 41 inches, which is 60% of my height. And I was huffing and puffing all the time. All the signs were telling me that this is definitely not a healthy physique for me to maintain. And aside from healthy considerations, there were aesthetics compromises as well. I've lost all my muscle definitions. My face looked puffy and oily, and my whole appearance was just too bulky and heavy for most people's taste. Due to all these considerations, on 4th of October, about 2 weeks after I reached my heaviest weight, I have decided to go on a dedicated fat loss phase to get myself back into a much leaner and more aesthetic version that sits much better with the general fitness expectations. And this time, I've decided to document the whole fat loss phase and upload my weekly fat loss progress onto my YouTube channel. And as I'm talking to you right now, I've already uploaded the fat loss progress of my first 11 weeks, and I will continue my weekly update until I've reached the body fat level that I'm satisfied with. It won't be 7 or 8% shredded, but I'm shooting for about 10% body fat in the end. In every video of my weekly update, I will report my daily morning weigh-in result, my weekly cardio volume, as well as my daily feelings. Now, some of you may think this kind of weekly update is boring as hell. But hey, if you ever go on a fat loss phase yourself, my weekly fat loss update might be the most realistic reference you can find on the whole internet for you to gauge your own progress. Plus, there are a lot of seemingly inconspicuous but critically important details you can find from my boring daily journals. So yes, I will keep my updates and you will keep an eye on my updates. So in year 2025, my weight has gone from 80 kilos at the beginning to 92.5 kilos at peak in September, and now back to under 80 kilos at Christmas time. Did I grow any muscle this year? Considering my heaviest weight has increased by 5.5 kilos, from 87 kilos to 92.5 kilos, I should have grown maybe 2 kilos of muscle compared to last year at my heaviest, which is quite a realistic expectation given this is roughly the 4th year of my weight training. However, as to whether I can keep these 2 kilos of muscle mass after my current fat loss phase, I'm highly dubious because my current weight is under 78 kilos and I'm still far away from 10% body fat. So undoubtedly, I've already incurred quite some muscle mass loss in my first 12 weeks of fat loss. But overall, year 2025 has been another very productive year for me. And now to the juicy part. What's the true reason that prevents most of you from becoming Neo yourself? Well, the answer is simple. You have been deliberately blue-pilled by mainstream fitness because it is in their best interest to make you believe in their seemingly convincing yet completely unrealistic promises and forbid you from seeing the uncomfortable truth. You see, Neo was only Mr. Thomas A. Anderson when he has been told what to do by authorities. He had to take the red pill, face the cold and harsh reality, and think for himself in order to unleash all the superpowers that already hidden within him. And for you to become Neo yourself, you have to do the same thing. Wake up from the beautiful but delusional dream that mainstream fitness has plugged you into. Have the courage to face reality and think for yourself instead of doing what you have been told to do. And that is what I'm intending to do on my channel in 2026. Keep fitness real, unveil all the uncomfortable truths, unleash all the superpowers hidden within you. If I can hack into the ultimate hypertrophy code myself in my 30s, so can you. That's it, guys. The latest episode of Hacking into the Ultimate Hypertrophy Code. If you have enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your support. Alright guys, enjoy your Christmas downtime, and I look forward to helping you achieving the best version of yourself in 2026.